Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Gam Ganapate Namaha Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Om Namah Shivaya Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 26th of April 2025. I want to offer my pranam, prostrations to all the great sages in the past, present today, yet to come, and to the one Supreme Paramatma, Bhagavan, residing everywhere within the heart of every being at all times. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. With that bhavana, we are continuing to examine Shri Vivekchudamani, verse number 77. And these teachings of Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj are specifically on the Advaitic realization. The realization is called Advaita. Advaita is realization. Advaita means one without a second. The one ultimate reality that exists, that is the only existence as such. To open this further from multiple perspectives every single day, we are approaching the truth, the satyam, the param satyam of non-dual realization using multiple approaches. Diverse means to try to unravel the extraordinary truth that everything is one, that there is one without a second. So what happens in the sadhak's life? Because our mind has doubts, our mind has questions. There is something called Praman Gata Samshaya. Praman Gata Samshaya means doubt pertaining to the means of valid knowledge. It refers to the fact that person will say, what do you mean Brahman? What do you mean God? What is all of this thing? There's some hypothetical stuff. It's not really clear. A lot of doubts come. So the aspirant, even a sadhak, may question the very validity of the Shruti. Shruti is where does Veda and Upanishads come from? And Shankaracharya Ji is giving commentary. Shruti means that which is heard. Right? Smriti is that which is remembered. So, thousands of years back when rishis are sitting in dhyan, they heard the teachings of the Vedas and the mantras and Upanishadic mantras. This is called Shruti. It is revealed scripture, revelation. Specifically regarding Vedas and Upanishad. And as a result of that becomes what is called Praman. Praman means valid knowledge. That which is heard by the rishis is not created by them. It is revealed to them by that supreme reality. And that is called Praman. That the Upanishad mantras, there are 108 Upanishads, out of that 11 major Upanishads. And Shankaracharya Ji's commentary here on Vivekchudamani is a further elaboration of the same Mahavakyas and same truth from an Advaitic standpoint. So this is called Praman. Praman means legitimate knowledge, valid knowledge. To apprehend, to understand, to apprehend, to touch the reality of the Brahman and the Atma. So these realities, by definition, are beyond the scope of direct sensory perception, pratyaksha, and conventional logical inference called anuman. So there's two things here. Pratyaksha means what you can see with your eyes, let's say. Somebody will say, well, show me Brahman with your eyes. How can you see that God with your eyes? It's beyond the vision of our pratyaksha praman, it is called. The reality of Brahman is beyond the vision of our senses. Then it's also beyond logical inference called anuman. Anuman Praman. So there's Pratyaksha Praman, Anuman Praman. So even logic doesn't really reach there. So doubts may arise, how can mere words, Shabdha, whether they're from Upanishad or Vedas, reveal a reality that is beyond language? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. Beyond language, beyond thought, beyond imagination. How is that possible? How can we even touch that? Isn't scripture or shastra just another product of the human mind? It's an interesting question. Take, for example, this Vivekchudamani, the Bhagavad Gita, the teachings of all the acharyas. Aren't they just created by human mind? And if that's so, then how can they actually show us the doorway into the highest of reality? You see, so isn't scripture just another product of the human mind, perhaps reflecting ancient beliefs rather than ultimate truth? Shankaracharya ji could just be giving a commentary on what thousands of years back people believed. He's just talking about that again. Is that what's happening? Or is there an actual revelation of Param Satyam in the Vivekchudamani? See the difference in this question. बहुत ध्यान से ये समझने की बात है. Is what Shankaracharya ji is writing, is it just a regurgitation of old beliefs? Oh, so many beliefs were there, so you can bring it up again and keep rolling around in that. Anubhav nahi hai, it's not even truth, it's just some beliefs only. Or, no, this is actually really showing Param Satya. You see, so why should Shruti be perceived over direct experience? Shruti meaning the mantras in the Upanishads, and as an exposition on the same, the Vivekchudamani, let's use the Vivekchudamani, as an extension of Shruti. Why should that be considered as Param Satya? Even more relevant than direct pratyaksha experience of the senses and logical reasoning. Logically, one can reason things out, which is where philosophy comes into the picture. Pratyaksha is where the sense objects are present. That's all. Well, this is very interesting, because the Shruti is trans-empirical knowledge. It is not knowledge just in the buddhi. It is trans-empirical. Empirical means within the realm of the material reality. So the mantras themselves, the verses themselves are directly touching that ultimate non-empirical reality because of the revelation of its natural existence in the minds of great sages. And that is our goal. Our goal is not intellectual analysis. Our goal is not simply, well, okay, this verse says this verse says that, somebody said this, just as a scholarly pursuit. It's fine, that has importance. But that's not the actual goal. The goal is to directly realize the Satyam. The goal is to directly realize the truth that Paramatma, that supreme Paramatma, that supreme Param Brahma is our essential nature. Now Sachin is using words right now. We're looking at language and words every day. But that's only the beginning. So the doubt, first of all, the doubt has to be cleared. That is called Praman Gat Samshaya. Doubt pertaining to the means of valid knowledge. That the doubt that is Shankaracharyaji's words or Bhagavad Gita's words, are they at all wrong? If there's a doubt like that, it has to be cleared. You see how difficult this is. This is why the path of Jnana Yoga tends to be sometimes considered to be more difficult than the other path. But it's not really like that, because it's a path of the intellect. Jnana Yoga. And so this Vivekchudamani is Jnana Yoga. So the doubt will come, wait a minute, the Gita has 700 verses, the Vivekchudamani, the Upanishads, there are doubts that come about. be aware of those doubts, and that is called Praman Gata Samshaya. Samshaya means doubt. And the doubting capacity is within the buddhi. Because the buddhi has 4 functions: Samshay, Nishay, Smriti, and Nidra. There are more functions than that also, but this is a way to classify them. We have doubts. So the doubt has to be cleared. Okay, what is the doubt? Be aware of it. And then there is the questioning back and forth. That's what we call dialogue or samvad. And we're going to set up sessions for that in the future once we start doing this more formally and systematically. That is to go back and forth with a question and to probe the question further until the truth reveals itself. That is also a process of manan, chintan, nididhyasana, but it is also a process of samvad. That's why Bhagwan Krishna and Arjun are in samvad. Samvad means there is an awakened being, like Sri Krishna, an enlightened being, who is embodying the ultimate truth, and the Shishya is trying to realize that truth by respectfully asking questions and trying to understand the answers and trying to internalize them. This is called samvad. And what does this do? It removes the samshaya. Samshaya meaning doubts are all removed. The moha is removed. The delusion is removed. This is the process. So to realize the Atma Tattva through Jnana Yoga, there are doubts. So my recommendation, Sachin's humble recommendation, anybody listening online or later on, write down your questions. Write down your queries. It's not like Sachin has all the questions. Sachin doesn't have answers to any questions. Sachin is only going to reflect, or others are going to reflect the truth that is in the scriptures. We try to unravel it together in a non-hierarchical modality. That is how the Satyam is opened up. Not because somebody knows something and just telling you, believe this thing I'm telling you. No, aisa nahi hai. Aisi bhavna hi nahi hai actually in the scriptures. Upanishad doesn't mean somebody sitting up here and somebody sitting down here and the person sitting on top, the guru or whoever, is saying you just believe what I'm telling you blindly. And no, that is not the meaning of Upanishad. This Upanishad ka arth yahi hai hi nahi. Koi uppar nahi hai and koi niche nahi hai. It's a totally wrong idea. These things that are come about in our tradition, somebody sitting on some asana up here and somebody sitting below, take that thing and throw it out because it's false. There's no such thing like that at all in the Upanishadic teaching. Upanishad means to go and sit near. Upa means to go near. Nishad means to sit is to sit with, to sit near an enlightened, awakened being. Upanishad doesn't mean somebody's sitting here and somebody's down here. That's what it's called. It's caused a lot of problems in the Sanatana Dharma because of wanting to be other people's gurus and wanting to, gain more spiritual status. It was sab agnan hai. That has nothing to do with spirituality at all. Even Gunatitanand Swami in Swaminarayan Sampradaya, he said this point, same point. Apne akshar chiye, apne brahma chiye, kaun upar, kaun niche? Who is above and below? There's no above, there's no below, there's only one. There's only one tattva. Yeah, we can say from Upasana point of view, Bhagwan is beyond all of us. That's fine. As a Upasana, theek hai. That's fine. But as far as we are concerned, we are all on the same platform. There's nobody above, there's nobody below. So for example, Sachin, this body is 54 years old. If a 5-year-old child is sitting with me, that child is also my guru. There's something to learn from that child also. The child is not lower than me. Even though Sachin may have knowledge to transmit, that child is not anything lower. And this is the point that is being made in the Vivekchudamani, where in the Vivekchudamani, the guru addresses the Shishya as Paramatma. It's incredible. It's one of the few scriptures where you find this kind of teaching, that the Shishya is addressed as the ultimate reality. Amazing. Where can you find? This is the glory of Adi Shankaracharya Ji. It is the spirituality of Advaita Vedanta. It is the non-divisive, non-dual realization of Adi Shankaracharya Ji. And this is exactly what Sri Krishna Bhagwan is trying to awaken through the Bhagavad Gita also. You see, so having said all of this, the point is simply that we can awaken. It is a jagruti. It is an awakening out of the entanglements of the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, out of the Agnan, out of the engulfment of Mahamaya, by recognizing that the 108 Upanishads, the 11 Upanishads, main Upanishads, and every word of the Bhagavad Gita is absolutely unflinchingly correct. It is a conviction. It is a nishay. That sanshay goes away. Doubts go away into nishay. That is conviction. 100% conviction, not 99%. And when you get that conviction, and with bhakti upasana, by krupa, by Bhagavad Krupa, the truth, the satyam param dhimahi, Gita ji ka jo satya hai, Advait Vedant ka jo satya hai, wo it springs open. It sparks in the mind. The mind, the brain, the senses, the sadhaka resonates and is effulgent with that Brahma Vidya. And that is called, in Gujarati we say, Brahma Swarup Sant, Brahma Swarupini Sthiti, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Parthan. The Brahmi Sthiti, that realization of Brahman, is what we are aiming for. Is it possible? Absolutely. Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. But there is a very systematic, very thorough, beautiful path in Advaita Vedanta. Entire Vivekchudamani is showing this beautifully for us. And in our day-to-day ways to try to unravel this. One quick point before we close today. What is the sadhana for today? We'll try to show one simple sadhana. बहुत सीधी बात है. एक श्रद्धा का विषय है. Just a matter of Shraddha. Take the Gita. Hold the Gita in the hand. Everybody should have Gita at home. Very simple sadhana. Literally have this book, small book, Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses. Or you may have a bigger version also. Doesn't matter. Keep a small diya. Keep a small incense stick. Bhagwan Krishna ki murti honi chahiye. See the sadhana. You don't even have to open the Gita. Put a flower on the Gita. And take the mantra, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, or Hare Krishna mantra, any Krishna mantra, or even listen to a bhajan. But with the bhavna that what is in here is 100% correct. 100% as it is. Now, if there's doubts about the Gita, write them down. You try to do this, doubts will come up. Questions will come up. Write them down. This is how we remove the samshaya. To remove the samshaya about the divinity of the Bhagavad Gita, we must know what our doubts are. Write them down on a notepad and get to the point. Then, next sadhana is to start going through the verses. One verse at a time. What is it meaning? What is its purpose? How is it understood? What doubts do I have? What questions do I have? Write them down. A point will come eventually. If we continue this type of path, this is called Gnan Yoga, with Shraddha, a point will come where the doubts disappear and that truth that is in the Gita, it opens up from inside. The purpose of the Gita is not to keep it outside, is to bring it inside, is to allow that Satyam to open from inside. And that is a sadhana. As a people, average Indian person will say, oh, we believe in the Gita, we believe this. But you don't know what that is. Go into it and see, ask yourself. There's 1,000 questions will come about. Find out what they are. So that is the point today, rather than going into too many other things. It is called Praman Gata Samshaya. That the Bhagavad Gita is Praman. It is the Shruti. It is coming from the Shrutis. It is an extract of all the scriptures. But the samshay within us disappears. And in doing so, what happens here is that we begin to have an unbroken, contemplative unfolding from inside of the teachings of Vedanta. So the commentaries and other things are all there, but it's an internal unfolding of the satyam, the sparking of truth, rather than simply intellectual lot of words and intellectual concepts. Alright, so let's stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Swaha. Om Divalingaya Nama Urdhvalingaya Nama Anandalingaya Nama Chandraya Nama Suryaya Nama Nakshatra Vigramate Nama Kalakantakataya Nama Navachakrangaya Nama. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrittar Mukshyamamritat. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Hrim Swaha.